Hello there, people of the internet. This might be my favorite hat that I've ever had the privilege of wearing. It's so fluffy and warm. It's very cold out in Florida right now, and by very cold, I mean it's only like 50 degrees, but hey, for me, that is very cold. So I'm out here today and I have what I believe is a Finnish M27 rifle. It's got the Army stamp on it, and just the little configurations on this thing make me think that this is in fact an Army issue gun versus the Civil Guard issue gun, a gun that was designated the M28 if memory serves me correctly, and I'm pretty sure that this right here is the M27 just because of the way the rear sight is, the way the front nose cap is, the way the bolt is, etc, etc. So this is a rifle that I am currently borrowing. It is not mine. And as I said in my previous video looking at a Finnish Mosin Nagant, one that I actually own, I have never had a particular interest for Finnish Mosins, but hey, they've been popping up and I've been playing with them, and as I've been playing with them, I'm realizing just how nice they actually are. And this one is no exception. In terms of comparing it to Russian Mosins, it is very nice. This is a very, very smooth, comfortable rifle. I have not shot it yet, mind you, but just the action and the amount of fit and finish and polishing that these guys did to these rifles in comparison to what the Russians did. Absolutely immaculate job, man. Alright, now, the reason I say this is definitely an Army issue, M27 versus the M28, which would be a Civil Guard issue. Our front nose cap is hinged, and that's something that the Army did for their M27s. Later on, they had like little, what would you call it? Ian McCollum called them popsicle sticks, little metal popsicle sticks that stuck out into the back of the stock right here. Or I guess that'd be the front of the stock right here. The front of the bottom stock here. And all that did was like reinforce the front area up here. Apparently they had some issues whenever they were bayonet charging things. Their stock would crack whenever they would twist their rifle and whatnot. So I'm not going to bayonet charge anything, so I don't foresee that being any problems on this rifle right here. The Finnish added sling swivels versus having just the holes for the dog collar rifle. Back here on the rear, we have another sling swivel, and they just kind of closed up the hole where the original dog collar would have gone. We also have what is not really something that you would commonly find on these rifles, a unit designation, the little brass, what would you call it, brass disc that is stuck onto the stock of a rifle. These designate what units the rifles were issued out to. During the Winter War, the Finnish very quickly stopped doing this because they realized they were giving valuable information to the Russians. So this right here is actually something that you do not find very often. The bolt on the back, we have two little ribs that jut out from the back of the bolt that you do not normally see on any other Mosin Nagant varieties. These bolts are not interchangeable with other Mosin Nagants as a result. This was done in an attempt to increase stability of the bolt and improve accuracy, but it wasn't done for very long. This is a 1931 production rifle, and I'm pretty sure they stopped doing it in 1933. If memory serves me correctly. I'm basically just going off of memory for this thing. The rear sight back here, they added a couple of, I'm just going to call them reinforcing wings just because I do not necessarily know what it is that you would call that. Little reinforcing wings to really help stabilize the actual leaf sight itself. We also have a couple of screws on the very back of the side of the rifle right here. And the M28 rifles had the screws on the top of the leaf sight versus the back of the leaf sight right here. And that is one of the things that tells me that this is an M27, not an M28. Between that, the hinged nose cap, and the ribs on the bolts, those are the clearest indications that I can find. Unlike my other 1891 Mosin redone by the Finnish, these Mosins right here have protective front sight wings, and it is definitely an improvement over the rifles from my rifle, which has no front sight protection whatsoever. If I were to bump that front sight into basically anything, it would probably throw it off zero because the front sight on that rifle is not very stable on there. I'm able to move it around pretty easily if I stick any amount of force on it. I'm also noticing that the barrel looks like it is quite a deal heavier and thicker than other Mosin Nagant varieties. Now, as an M27, I originally thought that this rifle was modeled after the 9130, but the 9130 didn't come around until 1930. So the Finnish were using their long rifle 1891 patterns, and they decided that they didn't really like them. They wanted to make them a little bit more convenient, so they shortened the rifle down, made a couple of little improvements that I've shown you so far. Besides that, they were still basically using Mosin Nagants. They're just a little bit shorter, handier Mosins. The rear sights, this is the first time I'm able to see a Finnish rear sight. The rear sights are definitely a hell of a lot better on the Finnish Mosins than they were on the Russian Mosins. We still have the 1891 pattern right here versus the leaf sight that the 9130 would adopt, and the M39, I believe, adopted as well. I'm not sure if the M28 had it. I'm pretty sure they did not, but I'm not positive about that. Alright, besides that, there's not a whole lot left to say about the rifle. We have ourselves a stock repair back here, and I think that is it. On our brass plate right here, if you didn't see it, it says 3/KKR and then 40. I'm not sure what that means. I'm sure somebody out there is going to tell me what that means, but I'm not sure what that means. I do not have a bayonet to throw on this rifle. It looks like it would take some sort of Mauser-style blade bayonet, just spitballing from the looks of the bayonet lug up there. But besides that, definitely a Mosin. Definitely a Mosin. Now, after testing our trigger here, I was told that these Finnish rifles had like excellent triggers in comparison to other rifles, but my God, this trigger kind of sucks. I feel like my 1891 pattern Mosin Nagant has a better trigger than this one, and that 1891 pattern absolutely sucks. My Russian 9130s by far have a better trigger than this M27. I hope that I got that designation right. Where am I going to put my hat? It's got to be a place that isn't dirty. All right, throw on the old hearing protection here and grab me a clip of ammunition. Your Mosin Nagant rifles, they were fed by stripper clip for the most part. There were some very early production prototype examples that weren't. Whenever I say they were done by this or done by that, somebody in the comments is like, hey, no, there was one time where that was not the case, so you are wrong. Burn in hell for the rest of your life. And then burn in hell after that. Mosin Nagants, 99.9999999% of the time were fed from some sort of stripper clip. This here is chambered in 54 rimmed, just like basically all of your Mosins are, unless they're conversions or very, 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 very rare examples. And 54 rimmed is a rimmed cartridge, which absolutely sucks loading from stripper clips, especially whenever your fingers are cold. And especially whenever they are just those cheap stamped sheet metal stripper clips from China. All right, well, I have 5 rounds in this thing. I do not know if this rifle is zeroed. I do not know how accurate it is. I don't know how comfortable it is to fire. Like I said before, this is just the first time I'm shooting it. So I'm just gonna shoot this bowling pin that's right in front of me, and we're gonna make sure that the rifle doesn't actually explode. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be fine, but you never know. This gun is dated 1931, and it was built on a Russian gun, which would be older than 1931, so this gun is probably about 100 years old at this point, at least. All right, sending it. Oh, mama, that trigger absolutely sucks. Well, she fired. Didn't cycle very easily. No bulge primer, no bulging on the case itself. Looks like we're all right. I wonder how long it's been since this thing has actually fired. Come on, baby, get in there. Although the rifle itself is smooth, man, using ammunition inside of it makes it not so smooth. Yep, she's definitely a Mosin. She has your Mosin issues. Maybe if I dump in half a bottle of lubricant, she'll break free a little bit. Let's go for the steel out there and see if this thing's got any accuracy behind it. Well, she's accurate, and the concussive blast is not as bad as like my M44 and things like that. She does have a longer barrel on her, and the recoil is also not as bad. I think that's because the heavier barrel up front, I can feel a lot more weight up front. I think that helps with the recoil quite a bit. All right. Whew, mama. I'm gonna have to lube this thing up, because boy, she's running stiff. And you know what they say, stiff runners need lubrication. Forgive me for what I have said. I am sorry. Alright, I think she's starting to come around. Emphasis on the word starting, because she's not as stiff as she was. Maybe she just needs to be broken in. I mean, hell, this thing right here still has the brass plate on it. Maybe it was captured and like immediately set in storage somewhere. And as a result, maybe this rifle is like damn near still in new condition. Maybe it just needs to be broken in. Oh, mama. I know it's fun to shoot. Pulling the trigger's not so bad, but man, getting this bolt open sucks. You know, whew, I brought out another stripper clip to run through this rifle, but my God, she is a stiff runner. I'm gonna go grab some brass ammunition and see if maybe this steel case stuff is just a little bit too gritty for a fine rifle like this. A high-end, classy lady like this right here deserves only the finest of ammunition. All right, well, I got some quality PPU brass case, full metal jacket ammunition. Let's see how she runs this up. This is the good stuff. This is the stuff that whenever you shoot it from your rifle, it just... All right, let's see how easy this stuff loads from a stripper clip. I haven't done that before. Oh, wow. That was a lot easier than the steel case ammunition. This is the good ammo. Let's see how... Well, she felt smoother that time, but I could still load the rifle. I'm curious about extraction. This is 182 grain, full metal jackets. Let's see how much the recoil is in comparison to the 174s that it was shooting. Oh, not bad, still accurate. Oh yeah. Oh, mama. That's so much better. I told you she was a classy lady. All right, yeah, that is so much better than what I was running earlier. Damn, that heavier bullet made way bigger of a hole in the ground than those lighter weight bullets did. I'm gonna shoot that bowling pin again. There's gonna be a hole there. All right, back to the steel, why not? Okay. Get out of there, you. Get out of my classy lady. All right, I'm officially nicknaming this Mosin Classy. I like that Mosin. It doesn't launch brass into the stratosphere, so I can find it pretty easily. Well, I found 4 out of 5 shells. Better than nothing, I guess. All right, I'm gonna give her the old Colombian rebuild. And we're gonna see if she runs steel a little bit better. All right, here we go. Yep, oh boy. Yeah, get that in there. She'll probably run steel a little bit better now. All right, she's been rebuilt. Genuine steel ammunition. You know what, before I stick these in there, let's get them just a little dab will do you, right? All right, beautiful. Ah, man, those went in way easier than the last batch. Maybe she just needed, like I said, a little bit of lubrication. Let's see how she runs the steel now. Oh, that fireball, holy crap. The recoil is definitely not as bad as the 174s, but my God, that fireball was nuts. And we're back to treating her like a dirty slut, having to beat her rough again. This Mosin reminds me a lot of someone. You don't give them the good stuff, and then you gotta be a little bit rougher with them. Get out of there, you. She'll run with the not so good stuff, but she prefers things that are shiny and gold. She definitely has earned the nickname Classy. All right, I think she's coming too. All right. I'd like to think that she's warming up to me because she's getting easier to cycle. You know what? I have like 5 more rounds of steel case. All right, as the oil works itself into the system of the rifle, I'm noticing she's starting to get a little easier to run. Let me grab the old oil canister here. Just put a little dab on those rounds, help them extract a little easier. All right. Pretty sure our chamber is well lubricated. Wow. How many puns am I gonna make in this video? I have no idea. Let's send another round downrange of this steel. All right. Aha. The lubricant is helping with the extraction. Who would have known that you oil up your rifle a little bit and she runs a little bit better? Oh boy. Oh. I just crushed the old family jewels. All right. She's getting easier to run. Go ahead and spread the love around in there a little bit. Get her all nice and wet. There we go. Oh, mama. All right, baby. Don't attack me this time. Remember whenever I said she was coming around? I think I was incorrect on that. We need more. She needs more. Classy needs more than just a little dab. She needs full-on saturation. I'm gonna shoot the ground. I want to see the comparison in the 174 right next to the 180 something that I shot. The brass case ammo. Not nearly as impressive. All right, extraction. There we go. Yeah, now that one was well lubricated, she extracted all right. So the steel case needs some oil on it to viably extract from this thing. I've had several Mosins in my time with basically the same exact issue. And over time, as I would use them more and more and more, they would just break in and I could run them comfortably. So that tells me this right here probably has not been used very much. The brass case stuff runs just fine, but the steel case stuff, you gotta work it a little bit. And that's typical for Mosins like this. I have seen many stiff Mosins in my time that still did not come out right. Everything I say now is going to sound like some kind of innuendo, but I have seen many stiff, sticky Mosins in my time that are difficult to cycle after firing, especially with steel case ammunition. But just as you run it more and more and more, like within the next 100 rounds or so, I'm fairly certain this thing's going to break into the point to where I can run it as well as I run my other Mosins. And I can run my other Mosins pretty damn well. I know the one I got back whenever I was quite young, I ended up having pretty much the same exact problems with that one that I am with this one. And then, like I said, after just running a bunch of rounds through it, it eventually came around and was far easier to cycle. So I'm convinced that this one right here is just not broken in yet and needs to be used a bunch. So it was still fun. This was a fun video to make. My hand kind of hurts now because I had to keep beating that Mosin open, but hey, I did it. I successfully beat that Mosin. Another innuendo right there. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Description down below has a link to all sorts of different stuff. I'd like to get my hands on an M39 because from what I've been told, those are like the pinnacle of Mosin Nagant rifles out there. I was told the Finnish rifles in general are very nice, but from what I could see, the trigger on my 9130 is better than any of the Finnish rifles that I've seen so far. But granted, I have only seen a handful of Finnish Mosins, so I don't have all that much experience with them. The Finnish M39, like I said, from what people tell me, is the best of the best, so I would like to get my hands on one of those. But checking out the M27, I like it. I wish it cycled a little bit better. My 1891 pattern Mosin, although it does not have a rear sight on it, is still quite accurate. This thing seems to be quite accurate. The trigger on it does kind of suck. The cycling mechanism on it, very stiff, unlike my 1891 pattern, which can run steel case no problem. I'm not a fan of the fact that this bolt can't go in other Mosins. I guess you could like grind off the back wings right there, the back little supporting platforms. You could grind that off, turn it into like a regular Mosin bolt, or just replace that rail in general. I'm pretty sure that would also work. I think you'd have a bolt that you can throw into any Mosin whatsoever. And I'm fairly certain that you could throw regular Mosin bolts into this rifle as well. Not that I'd recommend doing that because this is a matching bolt to the rifle, so like I said, why would you do that? But I bet if you needed to, you could. If you were, you know, if this was 60 years ago and you were in Finland and in some sort of situation where you had to replace the rifle on your or the bolt on your M27 for whatever reason. This was fun. This was fun. This was a good time. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go make another video. Wow, this hat is phenomenal. I was cold until I put it on, and now I'm quite warm. I'm actually starting to sweat. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day.
Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. The poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.